Thank you very much indeed, Timothy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to stand up because otherwise I can't really think. It's a great pleasure to be here because I have to say the Orwell Prize is the thing I'm almost proudest in the world of having won, certainly having that name attached. And Jean has done absolutely a fantastic job of building it up, and George is proud of you, I'm sure. Now, I assume there are obviously many, many countries in the world where there are all sorts of things you can't say without being locked up by the state, like China or Burma or Saudi Arabia. I'm going to suggest we talk mainly about free countries, because that kind of narrows it down: Britain, Europe, North America, so on. And I want to suggest a distinction to you, to parse our title, which is what can't we speak about, and to parse it into three different things. First of all, what can't we speak about without being killed, or at least going in fear of being killed? Secondly, what may we not speak about without being prosecuted, or having a fear of being prosecuted by the law, i.e. what's forbidden by the law? And thirdly, what should we not speak about, even though we can and may? In other words, what we might agree among ourselves in a civilized debate in a certain context. Now, number one, what can't we speak about without being killed or going in fear of our lives? Here I have to say, I think Mehdi really understates the problem. Because there are now hundreds, possibly thousands, but certainly hundreds of people in free countries who live in fear of their lives because of things they said about Islam. It started in this country with the Rushdie affair. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Theo van Gogh was killed, the Danish cartoonist. It's quite a long list. And that is to say, the blackmail that goes, if you say that, we will kill you. And the chilling effect of that is much, much wider. Yes, Charles Moore, and yes, Richard Littlejohn, but the chilling effect. Let me give you just one example. Here is a book just published by Princeton University Press by a very respected American academic called Jutta Klassen. It's called The Cartoons That Shook the World, the Danish cartoonist writer. The only thing is, you can't see the cartoons that shook the world, right? Which may seem a bit odd. She had a contract with Princeton Yale, to do the book with a reproduction of the page of the newspaper in which the cartoons appeared, plus some images of the Prophet Muhammad that appeared in historic Islamic art. Yale UP, a university press, reneged on that contract, citing fears about security. Now that, for me, is a pretty chilling example. And this, it seems to me, has to be resisted with all the vigor and determination at our disposal. And it's not just a matter of the law. It actually requires solidarity from all of us to resist that intimidation, which I'm afraid mainly does come at the moment from some Muslims. I don't say Islam, some Muslims, that has this chilling effect. It also, by the way, comes from the mafia, if you're a journalist writing about organized crime in Italy. It comes from some Sikhs, if you put on a play called Beheshti, which comes of right. So let's not say it's only Muslims. But this absolutely, and it requires, real civic courage and real solidarity. It's not just a matter of the law. Second category, what may we not say? Now, as you will all know, there are whole libraries in Oxford on this subject of the law on free speech, and we could go on for 15 hours just on the First Amendment, because everybody agrees, and maybe of course right, that free speech doesn't mean you can say everything everywhere about everybody. That's obvious. So, privacy, to some extent respected. Almost everybody in the world agrees that paedophilia, child pornography, should be controlled. And that's an almost universal taboo. Incitement to violence, even in the great American First Amendment tradition, incitement to violence, which in a famous court verdict makes the violence imminent, intended, and likely. Imminent, intended, and likely is bad. Okay? So I think we could all agree on that. We could have a conversation about sort of forms of speech, sometimes called hate speech, which might have the effect of inciting violence. I mean, there is a line to be drawn there. But what's happened in Britain and Europe over the last 20 years is that restrictions on free speech have gone far further than this. And I mean, maybe hinted at it. There's a security aspect, there's a life aspect. There's also restricting free speech in the name of respect for religion. Yes? You respect my taboo, I'll respect yours. Or respect for diversity. Or let me give you an even worse example in my view, which is legislating what you can or cannot say about the past, about history. Right? Which, are there some historians in the room? Yes. Think of that. So this, of course, starts the road to hell is paved with good intentions in Germany and Austria with the criminalization of Holocaust denial, and then it spread. So that now it is a crime in Switzerland to say that what happened to the Armenians in Turkey in 1915 was not a genocide, and it's a crime in Turkey to say that it was. Right? So how absurd can you get? I do not think there should be any legislation about what we should say about the about past events and dead persons, including Mohammed, Jesus, you name it. I think that is a clear case where we need to put back. So I think that restrictions by law on grounds other than the ones I've mentioned have gone far too far in Britain and Europe, and we actually need to push back quite a long way. This brings me to my third thing, which is what should we say? Because having a right to offend does not mean you have the duty to offend. That's clear. It doesn't mean we have to say insulting things to everybody and all the time.